G'day everybody, Archon's back with a little bit of an update on what our teams have been up to. So you saw my last video about the 3 enemies that we need to confront and defeat in order to complete the liberation of Earth, as I understand it. Now, demonkind has been on the ropes for some time, but today's mission we doubled back and gave them an extra slapdown. So what I will say about last week is we had some incredible progress with the Archons. The Archons, now I've heard the word Archon used interchangeably with reptilian, demon, nefarious spirit, all sorts of things. And that particular word we have reoriented onto a group of spider beings who weave the web around the world and create the thought terrain that we all exist in. They created a massive shell around the earth and built into that shell are the base affirmations that probably you, I, and everyone we know all hold true. Now, we think they have a library full of affirmations about things we hold to be true, about the reality that we're in. And they've cultivated them over millennia. Now, we did have a mission where we attacked them. We took out a handful of them. And we did rather well. But I was able to get one in channel this week. And there's a girl who could not tell the difference between when she was sleeping and when she was awake, when she was in a dream, when she was awake. Or it wasn't immediately clear. It took about half an hour to figure out if she was awake or not, because her dreams were so vivid. And how did I diagnose that as? The Archons were using her body while she was asleep. So they used her brain, her thoughts, her mind while she was asleep. And it was to the point where she couldn't tell if that was the reality or if it wasn't. But it did give us access to channeling an Archon. And what we found was that they are dumb. They are stupid. Now, they kept building, they kept expanding their nest. They kept expanding the web of lies around the world with the sole metric of making themselves more comfortable. Now, they told me that nobody had ever attacked them like that and nobody had ever killed any of their beings, and they were a bit confused why we did it. And then I had to explain to them that their lifestyle, what they did, how they lived, was incredibly damaging to humanity, and that this is a retaliation. And it was an absolutely new concept to them. They had not heard of it. And I started to show them little samples of humans' misery. And when they said, why would you put up with that? I said, well, we're not. That's why we're here, because you're the cause of that. And they were very, very happy, at least 95% of them, to be gated for me to create a gate or a portal, so for them to jump back to their home world, which they did. Like it was all over in like 20, 30 minutes. It's like half an hour before dinner, and most of them left town. Our team, which was stunningly simple. I was in such disbelief it was that simple. I asked the team to verify, and they go, "Yeah, there's nobody here," but the infrastructure's still there, and that so far is going very, very slowly. We've only managed to. It appears as though there's a shell around the Earth, and then all the belief systems that they've installed are like pages in a book, and each page is a giant clear jelly shape. And it took us all like an hour or so to delete just one page from that book. So we're going to go back to the drawing board because there's hundreds of pages. We're going to go back to the drawing board and try and figure out how do we do this more efficiently, because I think it would absorb an incredible amount of our team's time. We continue to do it the way that we are doing it now. On top of that, I'd like to talk about today's mission. See, we only had a small group today. So what we did instead was we doubled back onto demonkind, because we kind of got fascinated with the aliens for a while, and we got fascinated with the mirror world for a while and the Archons. But, you know, we effectively have our foot on the collective demonic throat. And I think we want to finish that one, like, because it's a very good idea. And so what we thought strategically about what kinds of demons what parts of the demonic population we would like to, what's the word I'm looking for? Trim off. And we came up with political demons, and we found, like, think of them like their home dimensional networks. Think of it like warrens or villages or cities. And we started with political demon groups, and we found a bunch of those. And then when we expanded the definition to groups that hold influence on the political landscape of human, on groups that hold influence on human organization, right? So the way that we organize, if there's a demon group devoted to influencing that, then we want to know about it. We found about 15. We did a warm-up of one of the small ones, which was about trying to save the planet. I actually very much have a demon group. You know, Greta Thunberg's part of that, and the whole green movement's part of that. And it's sort of like the Sisyphus thing, where they know they're pushing a stone up the hill and they're not going to succeed. None of them believe that they will change the world in the way that they hope. They think it's a hopeless cause, but if they don't do it, then what else are they going to do? And so it took us a little while, and we worked up a bit of a sweat, deleting all of the demons behind that group, what we call the feel-good group. And so then we went, and that was great. Everything worked out just fine. We closed that dimension, which means that as far as protesting and as far as counterculture goes, they're off the leash. They're off the demonic leash, and I'll be curious to see what they do next. And then we thought, well, what targets should be best? And like, we're all looking at a looming financial Armageddon, in which BlackRock intends to pick up all the pieces of the toys it just smashed, of the society it just smashed, I should say. Don't be surprised if that's how it plays out. Kind of obvious. And I've got a whole another thing to say about BlackRock, but I'll be talking about that sooner or later. So we decided to hit finance, money. And we decided, it was an incredible place. Like, that was a humming hive of activity. It was an incredibly complex warren of multiple manipulation types, overlapping interconnection, and all about oppression. And funnily enough, the biggest, meanest one there was a demon called payroll, and how everybody is attached to payroll, and how everybody's chained to their weekly pay packet. And there's not a small number of people who are influenced by that. That was ugly. That was ugly. But the complexity and imagination they put into this was huge. And so basically we ran a few spiritual cyclones through the place, discombobulated everything, and then dragged it all into a conversion vortex where we just transmuted all of the demon bodies, demon construct of loosh flows, contracts, all of it, just put it all into this one giant vortex. And it took us an hour to, like, literally shovel all of that into the pit. But we did it and closed that dimension. So as of Friday, the 6th of September, 12 o'clock Sydney time, I'm kind of curious to see what impact that has on the stock market, what impact that has on all kinds of things finance related. And I want anyone to think of a person for whom money has absolutely no control over them, and understand just how influential a group that was. So if we're lucky, you know, we'll push back if we're lucky, we'll completely derail their plans for economic disaster. And if we're unlucky, we'll just postpone it. You know, a little bit of time here probably makes the difference between success and failure for what we're trying to do. So I also wanted to know that I teach people how to do this, and my trainees come and join the teams. So through this training, then you will learn how to, we go to the tippity top of the astral projection game. And after we've defeated these guys, then I have every expectation that our team will be needed to rebuild and reconstruct the new Earth and how it looks in the future, as well as chasing down and liberating other planets that this kind of influence has been completely implemented on. Should be an entertaining time, I'm sure, I'll tell you. And you know, training takes about a year, costs less than $5,000 US, and it'll take you from zero to the tippity top of the game. And if you've already studied a few things before, this will take you, it'll take you further on the road to mastery. But yes, by all means, like and subscribe to the video, your usual things. And thank you all. Goodbye for now.